Welcome. It's Michael in the morning. Just kidding. It's the Chill Island Oasis of truth and reality. Uh just being real silly right now. This is only part 1 of the stream. I'm not really cuz I have to do something later. And I also don't want to get streaming burnout. But seriously, folks, so weird. I'm gonna wait for people to come in for me to ask about something, but um basically I just opened up this new weed and it's different and it smelled kind of diesely, and I've been running into this issue. Like, I just smoked it and the bowl is kind of full, so that's weird because this seems to happen when, like, I haven't, like, the bowl is a little bit not clogged, but like just getting a little bit resinous at the top, in the actual bowl part. So this thing will happen where the smoke comes up and, like, I'll sneeze, but it doesn't seem to necessarily be. I can't tell if it's from smelling the weed or then smoking the weed or just the bowl, the resin, whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that I sneezed like 5 times after lighting this weed. What's up with that? And it's annoying because it's like, oh yeah, I feel high, but I'm not like, it's not what I want though, you know? It's hard to explain because then people are like, "What do you mean? Like, whoa, you want to get high?" It's like, no, I feel almost like allergic. What's going on? I felt like last night that, or yesterday and last night, I was a little bit itchy. I was already itchy, but this was with the weed that was fine. Okay, and I'm in my basement, so that might contribute. And I already felt a little nasally, so it could just be a coincidence, right? But I noticed that, like, the diesely smell. I mean, I know that people say it's from. By the way, it's from the dispensary, so it's good. It's called lemon lime punch, and I remember not having a problem with it before, but I've started noticing, like, a certain sensitivity, I think, to certain strains. It's not as bad as other ones, but again, it has this diesel-ish smell, and it's hard to tell what comes first. I'm just very sensitive to these things because then I'm like, oh, it's kind of chemically, and then next thing I know, I smoke it and then I sneeze, but it's no joke. Like, I sneezed like 5 times and I get a ton of mucus. Now, like I said, I was a little itchy yesterday and then I was a little nasally today, but it does seem part and parcel with the marijuana. I'm like, I smell it and I'm like, oh, that smells quote unquote good, but it's got that diesel ish thing going on that I don't like so much. And then, you know, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't know if I'm not trying to make stuff up, but I definitely sneezed like 5 times. And you can probably hear in my voice it's a little nasally, and I'm uh had a bunch of snot. I'm like, what the heck? So anyway, there's still a little bit of it left in this uh bowl here. So you can tell you can tell me, I mean, because I probably won't start sneezing a lot again, but let's see. It's just that there is definitely, it's a little bit resinous right now, but only with the stuff that's good that I had that was good. Let's see if well, actually no, I don't even want to open it yet because I don't want to contaminate it. I've got like weird things with contamination too. So if I get even any inkling, right, of this, I'm like, uh-oh, I got to stay away from it. I mean, I've looked it up. People sneeze from weed all the time. People sneeze from everything. Uh, but what I'm nervous about, I just don't want to be like allergic to weed or certain strains of weed. But apparently, that's a pretty rare thing. It seems to be a, kind of an all or nothing thing. And like, I know that this bud is good. Well, see, now I'm nervous. I'm like, I hope that the grams aren't different because I got grams instead of eight and eight because that's all they had. Oh, right. Also, because like I touched, like I said, contamination stuff, right? So I touched the other weed, and then now I'm touching this weed, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, damn it, I hope it's good. But I'm sure that the grams are the same as the eighth. Like, why would they be different? Like, that's again kind of like OCD, right? Because it's like it's clearly the same bud or whatever. I mean, and then you wonder, oh, is there difference in packaging? Well, probably not. Whatever. But I will say, with at least this lemon lime punch stuff, I'm like, it's like as soon as I smoked it, I was sneezing. But of course, this bowl, like I said, is a little bit resinous right now, and like I said, it smelled diesely. I smoked it. The bowl is kind of full. I smoked it, and then or or resinous, you could say, and but when I smoked it, I sneezed 5 times and got a bunch of snot. So what's up with that, man? So other factors are like I'm allergic to dust mites, mold. I'm allergic to cats, and we do have cats, but they don't come down here in the basement. Okay, this is all stuff that I should be talking about when people are actually here, so that they can give me advice. But anyway, yeah, allergic to those things too. That's all I know. Uh, Various other things. I'm just trying to think of what else because there was something else that was relevant. Well, yeah, the cats don't come down here. It's just it couldn't really be. There's not that many. There aren't that many variables, I guess you could say. I mean, a lot of times I get nervous that there are, but it doesn't seem like it. Like, oh right, so basement air. Okay, so this is a half finished basement, so that's also an element. I mean, it's I spend a lot of time down here, so one could say you probably shouldn't spend too much time in a half finished basement. You probably wind up getting cold symptoms and stuff. But like I said, I feel like you don't really associate sneezing with cold. It's more like allergies, right? So that's one thing. All I'm wondering is like, is it a coincidence or am I allergic to certain kinds of weed? Period. It's like we can figure out the rest of the details later. I say we. So I wonder if that's SI seeking. I'm like, you guys need to help me. No, but you know what I mean. It's kind of just like all I want to know for the time being is if I'm allergic to certain kinds of weed. I mean, that's like because all the other stuff is just kind of like, okay, spend less time in the basement, take my Zyrtec or whatever, try to just stay away from dust and, don't touch the cats and stuff. I guess the cat was in my bed, but I brushed off the hair. That could be contributing to it. I just hate this stupid thing of like, as soon as I smoke the weed, right? As soon as I smoke the weed, really? Sneezing 5 times? Why? And that doesn't happen. I'm telling you that it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't the different kind of weed that I tried first. You know what I mean? So now I'm all OCD about it. I'm like, oh, now I'm gonna feel bad. Now I have to literally like I'm gonna have to go to sleep until feel better, and then start over, like take a shower, go to sleep. It's like and like start over when it's just one hit. So if I could just know that it's not the weed and that's something else, I get it. That could at least put me at ease. But no one's showing up, so I'm probably just gonna stop streaming. I mean, it's just very irritating. No pun intended. Like I said, smoke weed. I smell it and I'm like, uh-oh, a little diesely, a little chemically. Soon as I smoke it, sneezing 5 times, mad snot. And I keep saying the same things over and over again, but like, what is up with that? So it's like there are all these other factors going on here, but I can't deny that direct correlation. I mean, so what I'm wondering is like, okay, is it just smoke? Is it because of the resin in there? Is it can this happen with any weed? Or is it, the thing that I can't shake from my mind, which is that I'm allergic to certain kinds of weed or something. And it's just getting really ridiculous because, I've had this one strain of weed that's been like good for me. And then it's like now I'm OCD. Like I touched it, I touched the other weed. Now I'm touching this stuff. And then, you know, I'm OCD. Oh, I got grams instead of eighths. So, or instead of an eighth. So, like, I hope the packaging's not different. Really just ridiculous stuff. I'm thinking, okay, well, then this is a waste. The lemon lime punch stuff is a waste. I'm like, oh, now it's, I'm gonna have to go back again and like, well, anyway, it's just like, what, really? There's only one strain that I can get that doesn't cause me problems. It seems ridiculous. And then this one other kind that was like, you know, around the same territory of quality. I mean, it could also be placebo effect, but I'm telling you, it's like the way that it smells, like the way that this strain is pineapple mimosa, the way that it smells is like it's actually good. It doesn't have any kind of sting to it or anything, where I almost feel like you smell it and almost gives you a headache. Remember Eric on Talking with Famous People? He's even said before, he mentioned headachy weed. Well, again, what's up with that? So it's a thing. And he gets it from the dispensaries in California. Okay, so I'm in Massachusetts, right? So I don't have a medical. There might also be a difference in medical quality, but the point is that look, it may be, I guess you could say, objectively better than weed that you get on the street. But just from my personal point of view, I guess, unfortunately, there seems to be some kind of sensitivity going on to these like certain strains. Like, I mean, so then that gets me nervous. Again, back to my thing, and it's not just OCD; it's a metaphobia, worrying about throwing up. I'm like, oh, what will it make me throw up? Because there is cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, for one thing, and then there's this idea of the weed allergy or being allergic to certain strains of weed, and it does appear that most of the time the issues are more nasal and stuff, like I'm experiencing. But as one can, you know, ascertain without me explaining, there are many different symptoms of allergies, and it's not as if people every day are talking about their weed allergy. So it's very possible that there could be nausea and vomiting, and I've been dealing with dizziness and stuff. It could be that, but see, again, it doesn't seem to happen from this one kind of weed, or at least it doesn't seem to be directly responsible. But it seems as though when I like just now when I took the hit, those first couple hits of the Bolin of this different weed, I was like sneezing. So it's just very strange. But as you can see, I just hit it again and didn't start sneezing, so it could just be a fluke. Or a flu. No, I'm just kidding. Fuck that. I don't even want to jinx myself. But no, it's more like a little allergic. Like I'm like, ooh, why was I sneezing? That's pretty much all I have to say about that. But I guess I'm just gonna keep an eye on it. Like, I mean, it's not that hard to just smoke the other stuff and then or but the bigger question is like, do I need to stop smoking, like what up, Congressman? Oh man, the sneezy weed. Yeah, is that a thing? Is that a fucking thing? Because it would really help me right now to know if it's a thing or not. See, this keeps happening, and I was already explaining it before, and I was just about to end the stream and then wait until later until anyone was sticking around. But all right, you see, Carlos Pim says I feel like it is. So let's just let me just be keep it real simple right now and explain it to you the way that I just experienced a second ago. Okay. Now, I get weed from the dispensary and it's not medical, but it's recreational. So it's basically objectively better than what you're going to get on the street. Correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the time that just seems to be the truth of it. Okay. I open up this new. I knew that this was going to be a thing. It started to become a thing. There's this one kind that's been really good lately, pineapple mimosa. Okay, I open it, I smell it. It's the perfect blend. Okay, but when there's something going on with this more diesely smelling stuff or something like almost chemically, I open up this other kind I get. By the way, it's cheaper. Lemon lime punch, which sounds good, right? Like that's the kind of stuff that I like. I like the fruity stuff. Okay. Now I open it up and I'm not going to do it again to demonstrate because I don't want it to happen again. But I open it up and smell it, and it has a slight diesely thing. And so this is where it's almost like, okay, am I just tripping myself out? No, because uh, I think to myself, okay, it's a little bit different. But I sneezed 5 times. Okay, actually, not yet. I did. I think I might have sneezed once, but then I put the weed in the bowl. Okay. The bowl is a little bit resinous right now, so sometimes that happens. Uh, where I've noticed that seems to be a motif where if I might sneeze or something if the because I think it's just because the smoke comes back up. I don't know. Maybe smoke gets in my nose. I don't know. But doesn't it seem like just not a coincidence that it was right after this taking a hit of this stuff that I was again suspicious about already. Uh, I sneezed 5 times, and then just like not to be gross, but got like mad snot, just a bunch, just like mad snot, dude. And that's not something like that I experience a lot now. So I'm in my basement, and it's a half finished basement. Not really supposed to be down in the basement. Okay, I'm allergic to dust. I'm allergic to dust mites. I'm allergic to mold. We have cats at my house. I'm allergic to cats, but the cats don't really come down here. Okay. Uh I guess the cat was in my bed, but I kind of cleaned off the bed. I was already feeling a little bit itchy last night, and then I was feeling a little nasally earlier today. So it might have been a coincidence, right? What I'm worried about is like that I'm allergic to certain kinds of weed. And it's so bizarre. And like what now I'm gonna have to start looking into like the ingredients of it. It's just getting ridiculous, you know? Serious pain in the ass. I do notice though that it didn't start happening so much for me until I was hanging out in the basement so much. Like, for hours on end. So that's an element. There are a few elements. But like I said just now, how am I supposed to just act like it wasn't right after? Like I hit the weed, okay? And then or no, I smell the weed, maybe sneezed once, but then I hit the weed, sneeze 4 or 5 times, you know? I don't know if because then that would count 5. I know I counted 5 in total, and then had to keep blowing my nose a bunch. Um, Now, again, keep in mind, I don't think this would have happened if I was smoking the weed that had been fine or that has been fine for me. But I don't understand what it is about that one kind that is fine. So I've tried looking into the ingredients and stuff. And again, it's called lemon lime punch, okay? This is what is supposed to be the shit that is like that I like. And it's just getting real selective with it. So I'm not sure. I just need, after explaining that, I need people's opinions on this. Cause then I'm worried about, like, you know, I don't want to get sick. Um you know, because I don't want to just be like, oh well, it's probably not the weed, and then just keep smoking it and then die. I'm just kidding. It's not probably not going to kill me, but you know, uh, it's just weird, isn't it? Because it's not every kind of weed. It's only seems to be. It was like as soon as I smelled, it, I was like, oh, there it is. It's kind of diesely, which again I don't like. I want it to be fruity, and I don't like it to be earthy. You could say I'm a little bit picky, but really odd. It's just because people have always said that. Even when I was younger, people thought I was picky about weed. Anyway, it's just driving me crazy because I'm worried about. I don't know if you guys were here, but the big thing is I get worried about. I've got like a metaphobia, so I worry about throwing up, and so I worry basically, what if I'm allergic, and then it makes me throw up, and there also is this thing called cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, which literally causes people to throw up constantly. So I'm already like on guard about that. But then now I'm like sneezing from certain kinds of weed, and I'm like, I just want to know how worried I should be. I hate that I do that because I should. I seek reassurance very much, but it's like, how am I supposed to know? That's how I gather consensus. I think it's TE. Okay. Um. Anyway, enough about that. I seem to be fine now. Knock on wood. I just get worried, you know. Mr. Hypochondriac over here. You know, it's like if I'm sneezing, okay, and then I'm worried that I'm sneezing about weed, you can understand where my mind goes from that. It's like, uh-oh, what if I get sick? What if I throw up? And it's just like, no, but I probably shouldn't push it though. That's why I want to know for sure. Hold on. But I'm pissed off because, you know, it's like that wouldn't have happened if it was the kind of weed that's been fine. And now I feel like, oh, I'm gonna have to take a shower and go to sleep to feel like better again or whatever, reset. Because I'm very, again, I don't mean to be so overly whatever about it, but it's kind of like now I feel like there's this potential. I'm like, oh, now I have an allergen in me. You know what I mean? So I have to like reset tomorrow. And it's just like I just slept for a shitload of time. And I'm up now, I'm chilling. I'm not, it's bullshit. I don't want to fuck up my whole night just because I smoked some fucking weed that, you know, may or may not be provoking allergies. Anyway, it's probably fine because, one thing that is true is that once you're not, what I notice is once I'm not I guess it just goes away over time, obviously. But I guess it just makes me nervous, you know? Even just from the perspective of like the idea of it being an allergen. I mean, again, I know that it's not that this certain weed is fine that I have right now, but it's the other weed that's maybe not good. But yeah, for real, it's just like it's getting really selective, and it seems to have like increased over time. But again, very weird things, you know. I have this did seem to start more when I was hanging out in the basement, or when I started hanging out in the basement all the time. There's such a good setup down here though. So it's just annoying. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna have to just start testing, running tests, and just being really serious about it if I ever want to feel better and figure these weird things out. But now I'm just pissed because I'm like, I don't want to get a headache now and stuff, you know, and like just like not feel well. Because I was feeling all right when I woke up, and it's like as soon as I hit this other weed that seems to not, you know, that had the weird kind of smell, I'm like sneezing 5 times, fucking get a slight headache. But anyway, it should be fine if it just goes away. But now I'm gonna have to wash my bowl, and I'm gonna have to let me make sure. I'm not gonna touch the inside of it, okay? Because I'm also weird about contamination. But I'm gonna check right now what happens when I smell this, because it's grams. I usually get eighths, but they didn't have eighths, so I got So I got 2 grams of pineapple mimosa, which is the kind that's fine. And I'm like, uh-oh, are the grams going to be different? This is where I get like weird and OCD. I'm like, uh-oh, did they package it different? But check it out though. It's fine. Basically, it's basically fine. I mean, I feel like, uh-oh, I'm worried there's like a little tingling, but that's probably just residual. Because as soon as I smell it, right, it's basically fine. Let's get crazy. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna smell the stuff again. Yep. See. Easily, but it's not making me sneeze anymore. Yeah. See, no, I smell it though, and it's a little diesely, almost a little headachy. Okay. Then I open the. No, let me just compare one last time because I'm weird like that. Well, no, it's rigorous. It's a good rigorous system. Seems okay. It seems okay. Like I still can't help but be kind of OCD, worried that it's like different because it's a gram and not an eighth. Okay, but no, it seems fine. I think I'm just triggered by that other kind. I can safely I can inhale this and go basically. It's fine. Again, it's like, oh no, is it different because of the grams? Yeah, probably not. But then I touched I got OCD too about this because I touched the new weed, right, the sneezy weed, and then I touched what was left of the other weed, and so now I'd put it in a different thing because I'm like to mark that it's different. I really because I get real, selective about it. I'm like, oh well, if I touched it, I mean, how does that work, right? Because if you touch the weed, then I mean, you might be allergic to, and then you touch the other weed, you might have to be wary about it. but I don't know if it's because now I'm smelling it from here and it seems fine. Yeah, but it'll be weird. Like, do you guys think that if I touch the old weed and then touch the new weed that it contaminates it? Like, how would you, determine that? I barely touched it and then touched this weed. So I'm just hoping it's not a waste because it's just a waste, I mean, that's a decent amount right there. But anyway, these grams should be fine. I just need to not be weird about them being grams. But it does seem as though I might not be able to smoke this lemon lime punch because if I'm sneezing right after I'm fucking smoking it, it's not a good sign. But it's just annoying because you could say, oh well, like I'm hot, because after sneezing, it's like it's almost like high, but it's like it's not the high that I want though, because you don't want to feel allergic. I want to be clean and clear. You know what I mean? Like even if I'm smoking, is that an oxymoron? Do you guys think that's an oxymoron? And again, I think there's still a little left in here, and there's probably a residual in here. Let's just see what happens. I'm sure it's fine as long as I'm kind of not overdoing it and not overly fixated on it. You know what I mean? But like I said, weird, huh? Like just to immediately sneeze like so many times from it. Like there are all these other factors, but what I'm telling you, one rat after the other, 5 times, and then mad snot. Very weird. Anyway, so let's catch up here on the chat a little bit. That's my rant. As you can tell, because this literally just happened, so I'm just like it's hard to explain, but I'm a mixture of I'm like kind of worried, pissed off, uh not feeling that great now from the nasally. I was already kind of nasally though, but from smoking it, I was just like, and now I'm just like, I don't know, just disappointed. You know what I mean? Because it does seem as though to just sort of gather up. Yeah, is weed perfumed? Like I don't know. Some of this shit, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, but yeah, see, Sasquatch. I mean, I figured you would say that. It's probably better to just stop weed altogether, play to do detox, etc. Is it the smoke making you sneeze? Well, that's what I'm wondering if it's from the smoke. Well, yeah, thank you, Karma Spam. It could because it could be that too. Like, because I mean, you sneeze from your vape. That's pretty funny. That might be all it is as well. It's just sort of strange, right? Like, just smell it. I'm like, oh, then I smoke it and it's weird. But yeah, it could be like you said. It could be this just the smell setting me off. See if that's a thing. It probably is a thing. There's I've actually seen some articles where people say like why we should let people smell the weed before buying it. Because that could have prevented it right there. If I could have just smelled the weed. I mean, of course, then it might have gotten in my nose a little bit though. So who knows? But at least wouldn't have smoked it. But anyway, it's fine. I'm used to it at this point, unfortunately. But let's just say I won't be smoking any more of that tonight. I'll only be smoking the stuff that I know is fine. And indeed, I should probably just cut down in general. Sasquatch, I'm dying to know. Have you ever answered me? Have you ever smoked weed before? Because I'm genuinely, that's not like some fucking thing of like, oh, ooh, smoking weed. I just literally want to know what your experience is with weed, my dude. Brother to brother. I'm just kidding, but literally, to be honest, brother to brother, my dude. You know, because we can't talk shit about her because Winston's mom says, wow. Well, you guys can say whatever you want. I mean, I don't want to talk shit about Eric. Anyway, the comments thing, okay? I don't want to I don't necessarily want to talk shit about Eric, but I will only. This is the chill island oasis of truth and reality. So anything that is true and real is permitted. Okay. So if people start getting fake or what are the opposites? I guess false and fake, then we have problems. Okay, but there are truths and realities about everything, and there are truths and realities about Eric and talking with famous people, and some of those truths and realities are not even some, all of them are permitted here. But of course, we don't want to get into territory where it's unfair or anything like that. This is not a shit talking space. But I'm still sort of figuring out. I mean, I say that and then I contradict myself right after because then I'm like, well, but everything should be allowed here. Well, not everything, but we'll see how it goes. You know, we'll not only see how it goes, but we'll see as it goes. I think we just need to be careful about being slanderous and libelous here, as well as being unfair and hateful. That's it right there, guys. Those are my rules. Those are I think those should be our rules. I think we can probably all agree on that. We can probably all agree on those rules. Anyway, yeah, antihistamine. I'm probably gonna have to do that. Thank you, Sasquatch. Probably just because that's an instant way of doing that. Just take an antihistamine, drink lots of water, and then stop weed. It's unfortunate, but I really do want to start taking breaks. And also, by the way, so Karma's Pimp, you don't really smoke weed much or something like that? Yeah, cheese weed, I don't is revolting, by the way.